And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. You know, their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this video. So, as most of you know, that our health insurance are going up at the end of the year because the Trump administration has not come up with a plan to replace Obamacare because Trump said that he does not want to dump money into the health insurance pockets anymore. He wants the money to go to the American people. So he was like proposing like, well, I'll just give out $1,200 checks to the taxpayers and they can go and negotiate and give their money to health insurance companies that they're going to give it to anyway, right? The same insurance companies. So they could get health insurance. And then they're saying on one hand that a lot of healthier, younger people are putting money into the system, but they're not using it. So they think the system is going to go robust because of that. And then they're talking about sick people are not going to have health care insurance because of something like that. So it leaves sick people out. But health insurance is not getting any cheaper. They said Obamacare is making it more expensive. So to lower the rate of health insurance, just give people the money and they can negotiate and do whatever they want. But that's actually going to drive up cost even more because a lot of people don't know what they're doing. So they're just going to give it right back. So the Republicans are proposing a plan which is called health accounts or flexible accounts, where Americans will put in their money and then, I guess, use it as they go. And a lot of Republicans are loving the idea, but it, who has access to these accounts? If the American people are putting money into these accounts, what the hell? Like, do American people just go to the bank and just say, hey, I want to put this $1,200 that Trump gave me into this flexible account? Like what the fuck? And, honestly, if Trump gave people the $1,200, people are not going to spend that on health insurance. They're going to spend it on things that they need or things that they want. I This is a very crazy idea, and I think that they shouldn't touch it. They should leave it as it is because now people are going to be paying thousands of dollars into the system. especially if they try to get rid of Obamacare. And I saw this, since they don't have anything, Trump wants to call it Trump Care. His health, whatever Obamacare is. And I'm just like, yeah, right. So basically, if they don't get nothing passed before the end of the year, before everything expires, they're going to have to side with the Democrats and extend Obamacare. Okay. And if they don't, and people's health insurance goes up, they're talking about this is going to be bad for the Republicans come midterms, because people don't want to pay too much money out of pocket. But this is what it looks like it's coming down to, because they're not thinking straight. They're trying to dismantle everything that's been working for the American people. And they just seem not to care. So, what do you guys think about this? Because I think this is ridiculous that they want people's health insurance to go up even more, and then thinking about like a savings account for health insurance. This is ridiculous. And I don't think anything's going to get done, honestly, with the track record he got. So I'm thinking they just should get on board with the Democrats and extend Obamacare. And I don't think Obamacare is scandal. But hell, what do I know? I'm just a talking head. Listen to these responses and have a great day, YouTube.
And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid,
Oh, good. Are you going to do a government option then?
but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country
And do what with it?
so that they can buy their own health care,
And who do we buy this health care from?
which will be far better and far less expensive
And who is selling this far better, less expensive health care?
than the disaster known as Obamacare.
Obamacare doesn't sell health insurance. It's like a broker. It provides options. And those options are health insurance companies.
I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support.
Support for what? You're only suggesting giving money to people to buy health insurance from some imaginary thing.
So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars.
You see, with Obamacare, we still had our money, and then we used that money to buy insurance. You're talking about doing something we're already doing.
You know, their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases.
I'm surprised you didn't continue and say 2,000, 3,000, 15,000%.
1,000% over a short period of time.
Yeah, health insurance with a profit motive is an awful idea.
Because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal.
So instead of paying insurance companies through Obamacare, who are we paying?
So I want the money to go directly to you, the people.
Yeah, you said that. And then what?
And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance.
And who are we buying our own insurance from?
And you'll negotiate different plans. And
I could log into Obamacare right now and they'll show me insurance companies and different plans. I don't have to go out and search for it.
you'll get much better insurance.
Much better insurance from whom?
And you will be an entrepreneur for yourself.
Oh, so we own our own insurance company now. That sounds like a savings account.
So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party.
Work with us on what?
We'll work on something having to do with healthcare.
You said 2 weeks. 8 years ago. You don't have anything yet? And then you said you have a concept of a plan. What was the concept?
We can do a lot better. We can do great.
What will be great? It seems like your only plan is to stop paying insurance companies through this place where insurance companies are already curated with multiple plans, and instead contact insurance companies individually and try to find the best plan. That's going to take ages. You know, for the longest time, I thought George Bush Jr.'s reign of stupidest president was going to remain forever. I stand corrected.
This is crazy. Trump is saying he wants to give $1,200 a month to the American family rather than giving it to the insurance companies. And with the way Obamacare is set up, I didn't even know if they could afford that or if it was even costing that much. So I'm going to break it down for you guys to see if this would actually work and if Trump could actually even do this. Now, Trump brought this up in an interview today, and this is the way it breaks down. So I'm going to explain it with the best knowledge that I have right now. There's 66 million people on Medicare, 91 million people on Medicaid, and 21 million people on the ACA. Okay, this is the state-funded, the Obamacare. You're actually making a payment, right? And this is about how much it costs right over here. So Medicare, $874 billion from our government per year. Medicaid, $617 billion. And then the ACA, $138 billion. As of right now, I believe he's talking about giving this back to the people. Here's how it actually breaks down. This is the average family of four inside the United States right now. It costs about $1,600 a month for them to have insurance. The person pays about $400 a month, though, and the government subsidizes the other $1,200. So this is what the average family of four looks like inside of America. Trump is talking about giving this $1,200 to that family, so not individually, but to that family, and letting them go and find their own health care. Now, if you did this in an HSA account or something like that, this could allow health care to get competitive again. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this money should go to the American people and send the $1,200 to every family that's on Obamacare?
So Donald Trump says that he has a brilliant new idea for healthcare. He wants to stop sending money to what he calls money-sucking insurance companies and instead send it directly to the people so they can buy their own healthcare. Okay, but can we think about this just for a second? If the government gives people cash instead of paying insurers, where exactly does he think they're going to buy that healthcare from? Because unless Donald Trump is planning to open a government-run hospital in every town, they're going to be buying it from insurance companies, the same ones that he's supposedly trying to cut out. So the money ends up in the same exact place, but the only difference would be there'd be no oversight, no regulation, and no guarantee that it's actually used for healthcare. People could spend it on anything: rent, groceries, bills, because there are zero guardrails in his stupid plan to make sure that it goes toward medical coverage. And even if people did try to use it for insurance, private plans are expensive. A few $1,000s wouldn't buy much coverage. I mean, maybe a couple of months, if that. And then what? So either this plan forces people back into a broken, unregulated private market, or it's just a political stunt dressed up as populism. Because the truth is, this isn't a new system. It's the same one we already have, but with fewer protections and more chaos. It doesn't cut out middlemen, it just cuts out accountability.
Then the disaster known as Obamacare, and I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. You know, their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance, and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape.
That's got to be one of the dumbest ideas when it comes to reforming healthcare. And I don't know why people aren't talking about this enough, but a lot of the reasons why the Affordable Care Act has become unaffordable is due to Trump's actions during his first term. A couple of examples, and I've talked about this before, is that he made the penalties for not enrolling in health insurance down to zero. And that disincentivized people from enrolling in health insurance, which normally would help dilute out the risk pool and lower premiums, but because of it, it caused a significant spike in premiums to offset the costs of care. He also removed cost-sharing reductions, which are discounts paid by the federal government for things like copays to help lower-income Americans. So getting back to this idea that is so dumb, if the federal government was to take that large sum of subsidy money that was normally meant to subsidize healthcare for everybody and just hand out checks and say, okay, you be a good little entrepreneur and negotiate your health insurance plan directly with insurance companies, you are taking an individual negotiating with a multi-billion-dollar for-profit health insurance industry, and they're just going to laugh at your face because that small amount of money is not going to have any negotiating power. It's like saying you have a $50 Costco membership fee that you pay every year to get access to bulk discount pricing, right? And if Costco said, you know what, you don't need a membership, here's the $50 back, but you've got to now negotiate for that discounted rate that we normally did with a large pool of money, you will never be able to come out of Costco with any amount of discounted prices. You're just going to end up with a sad granola bar.
Donald Trump is talking about the money that would go to insurance companies now going directly to individuals. We're talking about health insurance. He posted this on Truth Social. No more money, hundreds of billions of dollars to the Democrat-supported insurance companies for really bad Obamacare. The money must now go directly to the people, taking the fat cat insurance companies out of the corrupt system of healthcare that people can buy their own much better policy for much less money, saving for themselves an absolute fortune. President Donald J. Trump. This is interesting because there is a trend that when businesses know governments are going to pay for things or subsidize things, those services or products, whatever that business is selling, those prices start to rise faster than inflation. So this is still in talks. Nothing has happened. Nothing is settled on. But it's definitely an interesting idea and it's drawing a lot of attention.
Ways to strengthen your faith, girl. Let me tell you what done happened. Word on the street is Donald Trump said that he want to get your money back for your insurance. Don't be trying to think about what the Republicans or the Democrats trying to do. He said that when it comes to the insurance, he want to get your money.